Hey everybody, hope you're having a great Tuesday, enjoying the lovely weather that we have today. It's gorgeous out there, isn't it? So I'm going to keep this brief. So today on EGP Linux Tech Tuesday, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. One of the things I've been asked about is what kind of tech tools can you use for doing ENT examinations? And there's a couple of things that I can suggest that you may want to consider. If this is the first time you're joining us, feel free to say hi. I'm monitoring the comments and all that kind of stuff. So if I look at the side, that's why I'm doing that and things. I'm more than happy stuff. The other thing I'd like to talk to you about is a new event that we've got running. So a lot of our EGP learners hopefully have heard about this that we're running. But basically, it's this online event for System 1 users, which I know many of you are. So we're going to come to that in a second. Anyway, let's start off with ENT tips. So examining ear, nose and throat, a bit common, we do that all the time. A little bit less at the moment because of COVID. That has caused a few challenges that many clinicians have faced, particularly because examining the throat in particular is considered a AGP process, or I've forgotten what it stands for now. But anyway, it basically means you should be more covered in PPE and all that kind of stuff, which raises some real challenges. And as many of us have gone to total triage and using remote consultations, that's proved a difficulty with particularly looking in the smaller orifices like the nose, the ears, and the throat. Anyway, there are a couple of ways you can deal with this. In terms of getting images of, for example, the throat, you need to hold fire. I'm going to cover that on Thursday. So that's what this Thursday's episode of EGP Linux Tip Thursday is all about, how you can get good examination of the throat. And I've even produced a video that you guys can check out that you can send to patients that shows them how to get the best image for you. So definitely make sure you tune in for that. But one of the things that you sometimes may want to use is obviously how you can examine the throat effectively in your practice. Now, obviously, many of us will use something like this, a bog standard otoscope. I say bog standard, this is my favorite otoscope. I've had it for coming up to 10 years now. Welsh Allen 9650B, I think it's called. And the reason why I like it so much is it's got good heft on it. It works really well. It's even got one of the crosshairs in the middle, but it's also got the cobalt blue light for when I use the ophthalmoscopic head. So it means I can check for things like corneal abrasions and that kind of stuff when I've got fluorescein staining. I know some people out there like to use the panoptic heads, the really expensive, cool-looking ones that can allow amazing images to be seen. I kind of don't feel I need that level of skill, and to be fair, I probably don't practice it enough to allow that to be part of my kit. But this macro view one that I've got is awesome, does a great job. But there are times when you kind of want some different kind of images, and that's where sometimes using a digital endoscope can actually be really useful. When is that? Well, you may want to have patients that don't believe what you're saying. That sounds strange, doesn't it? But I've had that. I've had patients who haven't believed when I've said that there's something in the kid's ear, for example, and I can't get it out and you need to go to A&E. I've actually had that. So a parent didn't believe that their child had a ball bearing stuck in their ear because they couldn't believe that that was a possibility. And I was lucky enough to have one of my digital endoscopes. So I've got this little thing here. So it's a pretty simple piece of kit. It's just got a camera at this end, cable goes into my computer and connects up to the screen. I can use it with my camera app and stuff. And as a result of that, I can get a digital image and I can stick it into the ear. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show you guys. Sounds crazy, isn't it? So I tend to use these kind of caps. You can get specific ones for the endoscopes, but to be fair, it works just as well. Stick it on. And what we're going to do right now is go to my screen and show you what it looks like so you guys can see this. So make that bigger, bring that across. So right now you guys can all see my window and my phone holder. And now you're going to get to have a look inside my ear. Now, just so that you guys can see what I'm actually doing, this is going to be interesting. So I will point out, I'm using it on myself. Don't worry, it's a case and I'm going to throw it away. So comment of, am I using it myself? You want to have a look? Yeah, I'm going to use it on myself. So I don't normally do this in clinic, and apologies if you get any wax in this, but effectively just to show you the type of image you can get. Now, I will point out I can't manipulate the back of my pinner to pull it back whilst I hold it in. That's basically what my ear looks like inside. Now, normally, I'm going to try and do this. You pull back, you can get a slightly better image there. Obviously, my spatial handling skills are not the greatest when I'm trying to do that, so that's going in the bin. But that's the type of image you can get. And this is a 0.3 megapixel camera, which is really, really minor. I mean, if you compare that to what many phones have, 12 megapixels, 10 megapixels, massive difference that you can see. And you know what? That imagery is actually quite useful. So particularly when I talk to ENT clinicians and stuff, I can send them pictures of what I've seen in patients if I've been unsure as to whether it's this otosclerosis, is it, cholesteatoma, that's the term I was looking for, other kind of conditions and stuff. And also good for keeping imagery if you need to, if you're tracking patients with recurrent infections, that kind of stuff, and seeing things you're not quite sure of. And as a result of that, it can be really useful. Can be used up the nose. I make sure you use clean caps and that kind of stuff. But because of the LED light that you get, it works really, really well. So I found this a really useful tool and potential applications. So apart from being a bit of a techie, geeky GP and liking this kind of stuff, actually one place I would really recommend people consider using these is in the care homes. Because if you can train staff to use simply holding a camera, because that's all it is, remember, it's just simply holding a camera, then actually you could potentially reduce the need for acute admissions in care homes, particularly if you've got larger ones where that may be an issue for things like ear infections, that kind of stuff. You need to evaluate it in terms of the efficacy and whether that's worth it. They're not the most expensive things in the world. So I actually got this one for £16, I think it was. This current one, unfortunately, is no longer available. It's sold out. But I can give you a link and stuff if you want to have a look at some of the more recent versions, and I'll put that in the chat notes and stuff for you guys to have a look at. You can get much more expensive kits and that kind of stuff. And actually you can get other versions, so versions that attach onto your mobile phone. So there are a couple of companies that provide devices that you can put onto the back of your camera, onto your phone, and use your phone as an otoscope, and even as potentially as an ophthalmoscope. I think there was one being developed. Unfortunately, the name of the company's completely escaped me, but if you check back on our EGP Learning Podblast, you'll see it's one of the earlier episodes that we did. It was a company that me and Andy had a chat with, and we've met a couple of times as well, and made some really interesting tech around that kind of kit and things. I'm going to go to the questions. So I've got, so self-ear cleaning devices. I mean, people could just use this to clean the wax out of their ears if they wanted to. Some of the devices come with little spikes that you can use to just clear that out as well. Cost, so I got mine for about £16. I think the current one's available about 30 just because of COVID price hikes and all that kind of stuff that we're seeing, but you can get the basic ones for a similar sort of price. If you wanted Wi-Fi connections, then you'd pay a little bit more. And are the caps with the camera the same as you use with the otoscope? The ones you get with the otoscopes, no, if you want the actual versions, but you can, as you've just seen, I use the normal ones as long as you push it far and in enough. The only issue you get is if you get the round edge ones, they don't always fit, so just to bear that in mind. And you have to use two hands to make sure you don't poke the patient in the ear or anything like that, but it works well and it works effectively and it's disposable, so that hands for infection control and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, that's my tip for tech kind of gear and stuff that you can use to manage and examine the ears and the nose. The throat, a bit more tricky. You could potentially try and use a similar sort of device, but I tend to find that visual aspect is a lot better. And actually, using a tongue depressant with your eyes is normally just as good. If you want to take a photo, just a normal camera can do that pretty well. And again, as I said, I will show you how to do that on Thursday. So definitely make sure you join us for our digital primary care episode on Thursday that will cover not only how you can take a photo of it and advice for your patients on how to do that, but also for yourselves, further stuff in terms of how to do video consultation based ENT examination, because that's the part I think many people are struggling with. There are particular systems that you will really struggle to do video consultations around unless you kind of know the different ways of doing them. So this Thursday, we're going to cover ENT, and hopefully all going well, next week will be MSK, because actually that's a common thing that can easily be done by video consultation. So definitely make sure you check out our episodes on Thursdays and stuff. In addition, as I mentioned earlier, we've got some really cool things happening for you GP learners. So in a few weeks' time, on the 24th of July, myself and Andy are going to be hosting the System 1 Facebook Users Group Online Summit. So this is us bringing System 1 to you so that you can pretty much ask them what you want, as well as engage in how-to sessions, top tips, and various other kind of things. It's 4 hours of your time. Apologies, it is a Friday. It's the best day we could figure this out to work. But for a minimal cost, £25 for the early bird tickets, you'll be able to join us and System 1, learning about System 1, as well as other people that are doing some really cool things as well. So if you're interested in that, definitely go to that website, bit.ly/S1FBUG, all in capitals 2020. Get a ticket, come join us. Me and Andy will be there hosting things, and we will have an amazing time learning about System 1 more effectively and giving you the opportunity to feed back to System 1 about what you'd like them to do. This is the first chance you're going to get to do this, so take advantage, definitely. As always, EGP learners, if you've got any comments or questions, more than happy to try and help and support you guys with what's happening and how we can help and things. If you did want to follow us on whichever platform you prefer, feel free to do so. Make sure you subscribe. Always here to try and help. And as always, EGP Learning is here to help save you and your patients time by taking hands in your primary care and learning. And I'll catch you guys in the next episode. See you later. Bye.